Harvey Lake Ta Hotel and Casino, Nevada. A night of terror. Supervisor Bob Vinson was on night duty on the second floor of the Harvey Lake Ta Hotel and Casino when he noticed a strange-looking machine in the corridor. This machine had not been there earlier. The second floor was exclusively for employees, making its sudden appearance even more suspicious. The machine was a metallic box with a smaller box attached on top. The front part resembled a control panel with a total of 28 switchable keys, 23 of which were already switched on. It was 6:30 in the morning, and Bob felt an uneasiness creeping in. What baffled him even more was that he had been on duty all night and hadn't heard any sound of a heavy machine being placed in the corridor. Whoever had left it there had carefully positioned it on 4 wooden blocks, which were embedded inside the carpet, indicating its significant weight. The situation took an even more sinister turn when Bob realized that the locks on the surrounding doors had been rendered useless, sealed shut with superglue. As he was processing all of this, his eyes fell on an envelope lying next to the machine. The envelope had a chilling inscription: "To the Harvey management, once again." At the time, the Harvey Lake Ta Hotel and Casino was an 11-story building with 197 rooms. Bob Vinson wasted no time and rushed to call security. Soon, the police and fire department arrived. No one dared to pick up the envelope at first, fearing it might be booby-trapped. Instead, they used a broom to shake it before opening it. Inside were 3 typed pages. The first page bore a bold, alarming headline: "Warning for Hotel Management Bomb Scud." The message was clear and terrifying. The letter claimed that the machine was a bomb equipped with a highly sensitive trigger mechanism. It warned any attempt to move it, even slightly, would cause an immediate explosion. Pouring water or gas on it would activate internal float switches, increasing air pressure inside and detonating the bomb. The screws on the top were linked to a trigger, and even turning them 25 times would set off the device. The message emphasized that the bomb was impossible to defuse, not even by its creator. It had an automatic timer, which would go off within 24 hours unless the hotel management complied with the instructions. At that moment, the hotel had 600 guests sleeping in their rooms. The police immediately ordered an evacuation, instructing everyone to move to the parking lot. Bomb squad specialists arrived and began examining the device. It was encased in a half-inch thick steel sheet, with its seams expertly welded and smoothed using car body putty. A key detail stood out. Bubble levels were installed on all 4 sides, likely to ensure the machine remained perfectly still. The squad carefully inspected the envelope for fingerprints, but found none. They took photographs of the bomb from all angles and used a special X-ray machine to determine if it was real or just a hoax. While waiting for the X-ray results, they placed a stethoscope against the box. There was movement inside. Something was ticking. The letter claimed that the bomb contained TNT, but its exact quantity was unknown. However, it warned that if the bomb exploded, even the casino across the street would suffer severe damage. Another chilling statement advised authorities to clear a 200-foot radius around the device. Taking no chances, the police evacuated nearby buildings, shut off the hotel's gas pipeline, and casino staff began relocating millions of dollars in cash to a safer location. The FBI soon joined the scene, setting up a command and control center in a nearby building. The faces of law enforcement officers betrayed their concern. This situation was far more dangerous than it seemed. The demand. The letter outlined a ransom demand, $3 million in cash. The bills must be used, unmarked, and free of any chemical treatments. If any tricks were attempted, the defusal method would not be revealed. If the demand was not met within 24 hours, the bomb's automatic timer would detonate it. The entire situation sent waves of panic through the hotel and surrounding areas. Now, the authorities faced a race against time. Would they be able to stop this disaster before it was too late? But to whom was this ransom money supposed to be given? And how? When the developed X-ray film returned from the lab, the blurry black and white image partially confirmed the claims in the threatening letter. The small control box attached to the top of the machine was indeed connected to screws with wires, just as mentioned in the letter. The X-ray also revealed a straight tube inside, which was likely a tilt sensor, along with a clearly visible float valve. The bottom compartment of the machine was packed with multiple cylinders, but at that moment, authorities had no way of knowing what these cylinders contained. One thing was now absolutely certain. This was no hoax. This was a real bomb. As the 24-hour deadline crept closer, the authorities made the difficult decision to comply with the ransom demand. The delivery instructions were detailed in the 3-page letter. The money was to be delivered by helicopter. The pilot was to land near the LTA building at Lake Tahoe Airport at 11 p.m., facing south. The pilot was to exit the helicopter and wait near the fans, where he would receive a phone call with further instructions. There must be no gunman or any other person on board, only the pilot. To execute this mission, FBI agent Joe Cook took control of the FBI helicopter. Inside, they placed $3 million in cash, but it was all fake currency. Hidden behind the pilot's seat was a gunman assigned to protect the agent at all costs. At exactly 11 p.m., the helicopter landed at the designated location. Agent Joe Cook exited and stood near the fans. Soon, the phone booth nearby rang. The agent picked up the call. A mysterious voice on the other end spoke briefly. "There is a letter under the table of the phone booth. Pick it up and read it." Whoever was making these calls was extremely careful, not staying on the line for more than 5 seconds to avoid being traced. The new letter was addressed directly to the pilot. It contained precise instructions. 1. Walk back to the helicopter. 2. Turn on a flashlight inside the cockpit and illuminate every corner of the helicopter, proof that no one was hiding inside. 3. Take off and head towards Highway 50. 4. After exactly 15 minutes, look to the right side of the forest. There would be a strobe light marking the next location. 5. Land facing south. A new letter would be hanging from a tree at the location. Following the instructions carefully, pilot illuminated the helicopter's interior in such a way that the hidden gunman remained unseen. He then took off and flew towards Highway 50. However, when he reached the designated location, there was no strobe light in sight. For over an hour, the pilot circled the area in the pitch-dark forest, searching for any sign of movement. But nothing. Realizing something was wrong, he returned to the airport and landed. Later, it was discovered that the pilot had misread the instructions. The actual drop point was miles away from where he had searched. A new attempt to contact the bomber. To re-establish contact, the authorities sent out a public message via television stating that there was confusion regarding the drop-off location. The mastermind behind this entire operation, upon hearing the message, called the police station again. This time, he instructed, "Harvey, turn switch number 5 on the machine in the hotel upwards and wait for the next phone call." It seemed like he was trying to buy time to come up with a new plan. However, time had already run out. It was now 6:40 a.m., well past the 24-hour deadline. Yet the bomb had not exploded. This was a positive sign. The final decision, a controlled explosion. Meanwhile, in the FBI's Command and Control Center, authorities had estimated that the bomb could contain up to 1,000 pounds of TNT. Their calculations showed that if it detonated inside the hotel, the building's pillars would remain intact, but the interior of the floor would be completely destroyed. With this information, they devised a bold plan. A small plastic explosive was attached to the control box of the bomb. The theory was that when the plastic explosive detonated, it would disable the bomb's trigger mechanism, potentially preventing a massive explosion. By 3:45 p.m. on August 27th, all surrounding buildings were evacuated, and final preparations were made. A massive crowd, including news reporters and law enforcement officers, stood a kilometer away, watching anxiously. The moment arrived. The command, "Fire in the hole," was given. A button was pressed. The explosion. The corridor of the hotel shook violently as a massive blast erupted. However, it quickly became clear the explosion was not as powerful as expected. Upon investigation, authorities found that despite the threatening letter claiming TNT, the bomb actually contained dynamite, which produces a far weaker explosion compared to TNT. The mastermind exposed. The investigation led authorities to the man behind the plot, 58-year-old John Burgess. His motive? Revenge. John Burgess had lost his entire life savings gambling at Harvey Hotel and Casino. Fueled by anger and desperation, he devised this elaborate scheme to extort money from the hotel. His two sons had also helped him execute the plan. The final twist. John Burgess's real plan was not just to steal the money, but also to hijack the helicopter. Had the pilot reached the correct location, Burgess's sons were waiting in the forest. They would have overpowered the pilot, stolen the helicopter, and flown to a predetermined escape point where their getaway car was already parked. The aftermath, John Burgess was sentenced to 20 years in prison. However, his sons were granted immunity in exchange for their cooperation with authorities. In 1996, John Burgess died of liver cancer while serving his sentence. As for the Harvey Hotel and Casino, following this terrifying incident, the owner decided to completely renovate and relaunch the hotel. It was rebuilt with a modern design and additional room, ensuring that the memories of that fateful night faded into history. Thank you for your love and support. See you in the next amazing video.